What's up, everyone? Thank you for listening to another episode of the Sawyer Brothers Show. Please be sure to follow and subscribe to the show on Apple Podcasts and Spotify, and then follow our podcast accounts and SDI accounts on all socials. We post daily on Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, and YouTube. We appreciate the support and listens greatly. Today's episode is sponsored by the Hockey Marker. The Hockey Marker is a marker that's designed specifically for ice surfaces. Its specially formulated ink works on ice and provides strong visibility during practices and camps. It provides bold and clear lines, making drills, skills training, and games easier to follow. Once the session is done, the lines are erased by the Zamboni's regular resurfacing. As a coach, I run a lot of small area games at different areas on the ice. The Hockey Marker allows me to tighten up the space with actual lines that players can see. Listeners can use the promo code Sawyer to receive a 15% discount on their website. On today's episode, I speak with Aidan Gonzalez. Aidan currently plays junior hockey for the Northern Cyclones in the USPHL. He grew up in Dearborn and played youth hockey for Belle-Tire before playing high school hockey for Gabriel Richard. Following high school, he played 2 seasons of junior hockey in the USPHL for Toledo, and now he's in the NCDC with Northern. I coached Gonzo for 4 years at GR and have been around him through SDI over the years as well. When I think about players that have went out and took what they wanted, I think of Gonzo. He was always talented, but his work ethic and passion for the game has made him much more than a talented hockey player. He's a player that's always focused on his development, and he's always been very coachable. His growth while at GR was incredible. He went from being a smaller player who loved to toe drag, like most young players, to a complete player who used his hockey IQ and skill to be effective all over the ice. Off the ice, he's respectful, upbeat, and always smiling. On the ice, he's a passionate competitor. That balance is something I've always appreciated about him. I really enjoyed talking to him for this episode, and I hope you enjoy. All right, Gonzo, how you doing?
Good. How are you?
Good. I know you just finished a game here this afternoon.
Yep.
How did that go?
It was good. You know, we were playing the number one ranked team in our division, so they were a pretty solid team. We ended up falling short by 1 goal, but you know, like it was a good look for our team because we were coming off a couple wins and we had a lot of morale. So coming into that game, just with the energy we did, and I think there was a good effort from the group. So it's just
Nice.
stuff to build on.
So you're playing in the NCDC. Before we jump around, your youth, high school, and the last few years of juniors, tell us where you're playing and where that is in the country.
Yeah, so I'm playing for the Northern Cyclones. It's located in like Hudson, New Hampshire. That's where our rink is. So it's a pretty nice area, really close to Boston, and it's on the East Coast, and it's really good.
Had you visited that area before you went out there, like I guess in August?
Yeah, I mean, I came out here for main camp in July. I've been out to New Jersey, Boston, you know, Foxborough, Massachusetts, all the above. So I'm pretty
Nice.
familiar with out here.
And you've obviously been there probably coming up on a couple months now. How's that living transition been? Not even just hockey, but just the living in a different state, living away from home. How's that been for you?
It was definitely tough to start. You know, it's like I did billet last year for like 2 weeks when I went out to Wyoming. So that was about
Hmm.
the most I've been away from home. So it was a little different, but I got used to it. You know, it's a good group of guys and everyone lives together. So you create bonds really quickly, and it's all fun now, all good.
And you said earlier before we started recording that you guys are not living in billets. You just mentioned there you're living with all the guys. What's that setup like?
It's decent. You know, the dorms are like it's it's got the bare necessities. It's 2 guys to a room. You know, you make the space how it is. Like if you want it to be, you know, how it looks, you can decorate the walls or whatever. And a lot of guys do. Like people get real creative, but it's a nice space to it's different. It's nice to be with all your teammates. You get a really close bond with them. So it's yeah, nothing to complain about.
What's the food situation? Are you responsible for cooking and stuff?
Some guys do cook. It depends. There is a meal plan. They have a separate cafeteria that like the entire program eats at, so you can get breakfast, lunch, and dinner there. and
Nice.
it's usually pretty good. I think it's they got like eggs and whatever for breakfast, so it's nothing crazy, but it gets the job done. But if you wanted to cook at the dorm, you definitely could.
Nice. It's good to have that resource. I didn't think about that with
Yeah,
the dorm, so that's good stuff.
yeah,
Cool. Well, so before we kind of touch on everything here on the whole mix of stuff, give us a quick overview of your playing career, where you grew up, where you played growing up, and how you ended up here in the NCDC.
yeah. So when I was really young, as far as back as I can remember, I started skating at the Disc. That was always my home rink, living in Dearborn. It just started like with stick and puck stuff when I was really young, and I ended up liking it. So we moved forward with it. I played for Bell Tire like all my youth years. I was lucky enough to play for my dad as well, which like
Mm,
not a lot of kids can say, but
sure.
that was really good. Like I enjoyed that a lot, and it gave us a good bond. And I played through all that, and I got to like freshman year of high school, and or it was about time to decide where I wanted to go. And a lot of my friends were at that time who I played hockey with were like, "Yeah, we're going to Gabriel Richard. You got to go here too." So I begged my parents, and they uh, they pulled through. So I ended up at GR for 4 years. I started on the JV team my first year, and kind of made my way onto the varsity team, and played 3 years varsity. And after that, I knew I wanted to play juniors, so I went out to a couple camps. As a first year, it's tough to get your name out there, but I did what I could, and I ended up coming back and just saying, "Hey, let's play for Toledo. Why not? Like it's close to home. I can get my feet wet in the junior scene and prove myself and show guys that like, yeah, I can play at the next level." So played there for 2 years, and you know, lucky enough to get an opportunity out here. Coaches saw me; they liked my game, so I signed a tender in the summer and haven't looked back since.
I want to touch on first. So you mentioned already that you go to GR and you start off your freshman year on the JV team before you end up making your earning your spot on varsity. That is
Yeah.
something that so many players at that age, like eighth grade going into ninth grade, a lot of players are looking at their potential high schools and they're like, okay, if I'm not on varsity, it's all just a waste and I'm not going here and whatever. You had to look at the big picture
hmm
and, go through that whole development process. What
Yeah.
was that like at that time?
It was really tough. I'll be honest. Like I remember like all my friends, everyone I went into school with made the varsity team. And that was like that was just a weight like on my shoulders. I was like, oh my God, like I'm not gonna be playing with these guys. So
Mhm.
I had to adapt, and it was definitely a rough like first few weeks. Like the bench was short. I don't know if you ever saw, but we had
Mhm.
about I think nine guys, maybe a couple more. So it was very small, but it was like just ice time. Like I remember being out there like so much, and it was a right step because I know now looking back at it, like I see what you guys saw, and I saw like what Coach Rick was seeing, and he wanted me give me another year to develop. I wasn't a big player by any means, so it was the right step. But I'll be honest, it was tough. Like it's just a tough mental thing to have to like understand like all your friends are doing this, and you got to kind of wait back 1 year and like build it up till you can get
For
there.
sure. I give you a ton of credit for that because not everyone can go through that scenario,
hmm
especially as what, like 14-year-old. So,
Yeah,
going through that and being able to zoom out and look at the big picture takes a lot of confidence and a lot of just ability to see the big picture. Like that's not easy for adults to do.
yeah.
So I give you a lot of credit for that. What do you think the biggest thing that you needed in that freshman year was? Like you say that maybe after when you look back, it makes sense. Was it just growing? Was it skill, speed? Like what do you think that adjustment was?
I think it was partly yeah my size. I was pretty small, but like I think also just adjusting to the game. Like I got to practice with varsity every time, so I
Mhm.
got to get reps on out there, and that helped like translate obviously into the JV games because the pace was definitely a lot slower, but I think it was a lot to do with size and speed and just stuff like that, like getting confidence, being able to like say, hey, like yeah, I know I can play here.
So the biggest thing with that is, from what I can tell, and this is something I think about with you all the time, is that you're just a complete rink rat. You're a hockey nerd. I feel like you're always doing something with hockey,
Yeah.
which is a total compliment. So in
Hmm.
order to, play freshman year on the JV team, skate in all those practices and games, and then also practice pretty much every single day with varsity as well. That requires a lot of commitment and a lot of just passion and love for the game. Do you agree with that? Like, how do you think that those tendencies of just being around the rink has helped you throughout your career?
Yeah, I mean, like hockey is it's like it consumes my life. It's like a weird thing to say. Like it sounds bad, but like everything I do is kind of just related to hockey. Like at a young age, I remember like seeing guys being able to shoot like outside into nets and stuff like that. So I wanted that to be a thing we had at our house. So thankful my parents were able to put a net downstairs, and like countless hours were spent down there destroying the walls. It's not much left down there except a net and puck marks behind a solid foundation wall. But just like loving the game is a huge thing. Like even like when I like skate in the summer, like sometimes with like just younger guys, I always make sure I'm like just make sure like you love the game, because like the second like you lose the love for it, it doesn't become fun. Like you have to love what you're doing because it's what you want to do. I guess some people probably for the rest of like their
Mhm.
competitive years of hockey, but the second you lose love for it and it's not fun, like there's just no reason to play anymore.
I totally agree with that. Have you ever dealt with a time period whenever it was difficult for you for whatever reason and some of that love was wavering a bit?
Yeah, I mean, all the time. It's just like you like freshman year, we'll take for example. Like it was tough. Like I was like, oh, dude, I'm just so like drained. Like I felt like I put all this effort in to be here, and maybe I thought I put more effort in than I really did. But like that's just everyone kind of jumps to like the worst thing. So like I thought like, oh, it's over. Like I'm not having fun out here. But the more you look back at it, like yeah, I had to push through it and enjoy the time I had, and that's kind of what keeps you going, right?
For sure. I think that's huge, is being able to understand that, you know, going through those difficult periods of time, that's normal.
Yeah, yeah,
That's not just a hockey thing when you're in high school. Like
hmm,
that's all of life, is being able to kind of adjust to those difficult times, because you also on the flip side can have some incredible times when everything is positive and everything is
yeah,
going your way. So
mhm,
that's really good that you can zoom out and look at that.
yeah,
So before we jump on to like high school stuff, I wanna go back a little bit. You said earlier you grew up and you played for Bell Tire, and I remember you were on that Bell Tire '05 team. I have some questions on that, but you said that your
yeah.
dad was the coach. Was your dad the coach the whole time, or just for when you first started?
I can't remember specifics really. I feel like I played for. I don't know if you know who Paul Worsley is.
Mhm.
I played for him for a little bit. I think he was one of the coaches, and I think my dad stepped on like the bench at some point with him, like maybe as an assistant. And like he split off with his son, and my dad took over one of the teams. So at that point,
Mm.
he was the head coach, and I played for him for a little bit. And, we had players come on, like another another father like took on the bench. There was two guys or three guys on the team who had dads on the coaching staff, which is I guess kind of it's normal in like
Yeah, it's
double A
normal
or
for that
whatever.
age.
Like it's because there's you're not really getting paid for it, and they're just volunteering their time, and those are like the best people for it because they want to be out there. So I
Mhm.
remember my dad was always like just eager to be on the bench. He loved hockey too, so that like put a drive in me.
Did you play other sports, or were you just a hockey player at the time?
Um, I played baseball all the way up until my freshman year. I kind of figured like I was gonna play for the GR baseball team, but it just at a certain point I kind of figured I had to choose what I wanted to do. Like
Mhm.
summer, I played like travel baseball, so it was all over the place all summer. So it was a lot of money and stuff like that. And I figured I got to choose if I want to play hockey or baseball, and hockey was the choice by far. So I just set that aside and uh, ended up just picking hockey. I joined the golf team at GR for like 2 or 3 years just for fun. So that was good too.
Nice. So you're for those that haven't seen you play, I'll pump your tires a little bit. You're super smooth, you're super skilled. You're a guy that you just look like you're so fluid with the way you skate around. Like nothing
Thank you.
ever looks too like choppy. Would you say that your whole career you played a way that you looked like that, or did you come into your game later on, like maybe high school years?
Uh, I don't know. I felt like as a younger player, I was not dominant in my age group, but I always felt like I was on like the front of like the team. Like there was a year where I don't know, me and Nick DeSanto played together for my dad, and I remember like the stats we put up together at that double A, like just in that age group, we it was pretty crazy. He had I think like 140 or something like that. I had over 100, and that was like our best
Wow.
year as like a line. We were always together out there. So, um, I mean, I feel like that's just my game. I'm a smaller player. I gotta be shifty and find ways to create with and without the puck. And like yeah, I can throw the body around sometimes, but that's just not what I do. So, um, yeah, I think I just had to take that role over. I knew that when I was younger that I wanted to be kind of like a skilled guy, I guess they would say, just kind of with the
Mhm.
puck and holding on to it, whatever.
And would you say your off ice routines and training helped you with all of that, or was that just all the natural ability and on ice stuff?
I think some of it was like natural, but also being off the ice a lot with the puck, like just shooting, like in my basement helps. Like I feel like now I've worked up to a pretty decent shot. I'm not like
Hmm.
a specialist by any means, but that's something I've been working on. I always stick handle in my basement. I used to rollerblade down there a lot,
Hmm.
just back and forth in like the little space we had, just stick handling, like pretending you're in like the Stanley Cup Finals or whatever, scoring the game winning goal.
Sure.
But um, I think that helped a lot, just like being able to enjoy it away from the ice too, stuff like that.
Totally agree. That's good stuff. I think anyone that's played hockey or probably any sport at all, we've all been in our basements or in our backyards or in the driveway or in the street, and you're picturing scoring some goal late in the game to win
Yeah,
whatever Stanley Cup or national championship or state championship or whatever it is. So
yeah,
I think most people can relate to that.
hmm,
Um,
yeah.
when you were a kid, before you came to GR, like you mentioned earlier, that you kind of ended up at GR because some of the guys that you knew were going to that school.
Hmm.
Were you already thinking about another school before that? Like you're a Dearborn guy, so what was on your
Yeah.
mind for high school?
Um, I figured like I wanted to play high school hockey. Like that was like the coolest thing. Like I remember being a really young kid, and my grandpa was a big Catholic Central fan. Like
Hmm.
his boys went to Catholic Central. They won a state championship there. My uncle's on some wall with their team, so um, I always thought it'd be cool to go there. I remember watching them play at USA, and it looked like I don't remember how young I was, but it looked like these guys were huge. Like it was
Hmm.
packed. It was like they were playing Brother Rice or something, I think. So, um, I thought about going to like Catholic Central or like U of D. I remember touring U of D, but like those schools are obviously expensive and they were farther away from home at the time, so it was a little out of the picture. And when I was playing my last year double A, Nick was he was going to GR because his brother went there, so he kind of just pushed me to go there as well. Said, "Hey, you can come here. Like we're all gonna be here. Like we're gonna have a really good team." So I said, "Yeah, like that seems like the spot." Like I know at the time Dearborn Public Schools didn't have like a hockey team, or a decent one at the
Hmm.
like that. They were struggling, so I picked GR, and I knew that would be the spot.
So you come into GR, and I'm glad you made that decision. I guess I gotta thank DeSanto for
Yeah, yeah,
selling you on it a little. You come into GR, and we've already touched on it. You played the JV team that first year, but you
hmm,
come in and you know couple weeks ago when I talked with Jimmy on his episode,
Yeah.
like we talked so much about the class of 23 and the class of 22. So
Hmm.
your class and the one that was right above you.
Yeah.
Touch on that, on those classes, because you come into a program that is full of good hockey players, and like you just said, DeSanto says, hey, we've got all these guys, we're going to be really good. Like, touch on coming into a program where we're building and you have so many good players around you.
Yeah, I mean, it was like a really ideal situation. Like we said, like I didn't make the varsity team my first year, but I practiced with them, so I got to be around all those guys who push you as well. Like they don't care if you're on the
Mhm.
JV team; they were pushing you. And like my buddies, like Jimmy, Brody, and Robbie, like they all like you're saying, oh, like you look good at practice today or whatever. Like you just got to keep working. Like next year will be your year. Um, so it's coming in like with those classes and being able to have like people to look up to was really helpful as well.
And you had the class of 20. I didn't mention them either. I didn't mention them because they weren't with you for 4 years. But you
Hmm.
had the class of 20. We talked all about them last when I talked with Jimmy. But
Yeah.
some really good players in that class. Like when you mentioned coming in as a young player and like being pushed by players, like those were some guys that you were really pushed by. So I
Hmm.
know that's huge for development. Um,
Yeah.
you play your freshman year. You get called up. You got called up to varsity. What do you know when that was?
I think it was the first game I played was either the Riverview game or one
Hmm.
before that, but I remember playing Riverview specifically, and it was crazy because Riverview had beaten us every game before that this year, and then
Yep.
they were coming in and like it was a huge game for those guys. Like I knew I wasn't playing in like a big role that game. Like I'd be watching a little bit, but I'd get my shifts and
Sure.
um like I just being in a locker room with those guys during that game, like it was like the hype was there because everyone's like, we got to go out and beat these guys. Like
Yeah.
we've lost to them all year. We're not gonna let this happen again. So being on the bench for that was really cool. And I
Well,
got a couple shifts too.
yeah. No, those are it's funny when you play a whole career and you look back and you're like, you put yourself in that position again because you end up playing 3 full years of varsity on really good teams and you have a lot of individual success and team success. And it's funny to kind of think back, like at one point you were unproven sitting in that locker room concerned about playing your first game or being a part of it. So I
Yeah.
think that's one of the cool things that comes about as you go throughout your career. You can look back on different times and just it's interesting to kind of see how your emotions evolve over time as well when
Hmm.
you look back at things.
Yeah.
um so your sophomore year, you play a full season with GR, of course, or with varsity. At this point, COVID has happened, so it's that shortened season.
Yeah.
Jimmy talked in his episode. He gave you a shout out for how you developed over those couple years.
Hmm.
Do you have anything that you think was specifically like caused you to develop? So like you took some major jumps. What do you think that was from?
like aside from being off the ice and practicing, like I think it goes a lot to my teammates as well. Like Jimmy said, he's competitive, but I'm competitive as well. Like we all have that drive to be better. Like I think it's it, I like being out there with them because everyone pushes each other. Like
Hmm.
nobody wants to get scored on in practice. You don't want to have the puck put through you in practice. Like that's just everyone looks at you and like, oh, you get stick taps or whatever. So it's it's like a grind out there and being out there with such good players like Jimmy, for example. Like we've always had like kind of back and forth. Like I think that's just our competitiveness drove like a lot of the play sometimes, and he definitely pushed me to be better as well, along with all the other guys on the ice. Like being out there and just having the opportunity to get better with those guys, I think is what helped.
I totally agree. I think it's huge being in an environment where there's competition every day in practice.
Hmm.
And we know, from being around Coach Rick for 4 years and then years since and skating with the practices, he finds a way to make every small area game an even score by the end of it. So
Yeah. Yeah.
that's something that I always laugh with you guys on because it'll be 5-1 and one team's dominating, and somehow he just randomly switches it, and before you know it, it's 4-4 in his mind.
Yeah.
And next goal wins, and everyone's yelling at him. So I know you've been one of those guys many times
Hmm.
as well.
For sure.
So you develop individually over those couple years. Your senior year, you end up on a line with Jimmy and Brody.
Yeah.
Talk about that experience of playing with that line because it was like a perfect mix of three different types of players all on one
Hmm.
line.
Yeah. I mean the way it ended up, like it almost couldn't be better. Like I remember we didn't start the season as a line. I think we played like 2 or 3 games where we weren't a line, but it was, and like they were having success. Like I remember Jimmy racked up a couple points before being on our line, and then I can't remember the specific game we ended up playing together, but I think it might have been the time we went out to play Mona Shores in Heartland
Mhm.
at Kensington Valley. I just remember, I know we lost those games to two really good teams, but like there were sparks out there. Like I remember we scored against Heartland. Jimmy made a nice drop pass to me. I ended up putting one in, and that was kind of like, okay, like we know our line has some chemistry here. But like, yeah, Brody was just a tank. He didn't have an off switch. Like his
Yeah.
motor always went. Even Jimmy's too. Like he always had a motor, but it wasn't in the same sense as Brody's always getting into the play first. Jimmy's in there. Like we're finding each other, and that just aided all the way like to the end.
I don't think Brody ever felt pain from something like blocking a
Probably
shot,
not.
taking a
No.
hit. There was just nothing. He just right back up and on to the next thing.
Yeah.
So, um, do you have any games that stick out? I'll throw you on the spot. Do you have any specific games over your years at GR that really stick out for you for whatever reason, individual, team, whatever?
Yeah. I mean, like there's two really. I was thinking about this earlier. I think the first one that sticks out is the Brother Rice game for Catholic leagues. Like
Mhm.
that was a huge game for our line, like as a whole. Like I
Yep.
remember, I couldn't remember if we were all five of the goals, but we were either four or five of them, and it was like pure domination. I feel like when we were out there, like not to
Yeah.
brag or anything, but like it was just we were going into that game like, man, Brother Rice is a good team. Like they got these guys, that they're supposed to be really good. Like we're gonna
Yep.
have to watch out. Like, it's gonna be a battle. And then we went out there and we put five on them, and like it was quick too. It wasn't like we were battling for it, and we were just rolling as a line. I think that's what started like our line is like, okay, we're going to be really good this year. Like if we play like this every game, like who knows what could happen.
I I completely agree. That was a fun game because that game I feel like people knew that our team was good, but
Yeah.
you're playing the Catholic League, that's normally like, first week of December. And so we played that game and I remember Brother Ice, we just pumped them like you said, and they were
Hmm.
looking over at us like just kind of startled. It seemed
Yeah.
like they were sitting back not expecting that from us.
Hmm.
So that was fun. What's the other
Yeah.
one you mentioned?
Uh, I think it's our state quarterfinals game against
Mhm.
Ann Arbor Pioneer. That was a pretty fun game at the Sportsplex. It was packed. Like that's a huge. The environment was unreal, and that was my like first high school hat trick. Like my legit like the first time I scored 3 goals in a game, and it was cool to be in that setting and score. We beat them like 7-1 or something like that.
Yeah.
So it was a whooping. So, but it felt good to get that out the way. And I thought we were rolling. Like
Oh
we
yeah.
felt solid as a team.
That was a fun game. That was a fun
Yeah.
environment. I remember, walking over there for warm-ups and it was like pretty full
Yeah.
Taylor Sportsplex and they've got a lot of bleachers in that arena. So it was
Hmm.
wrapped around. I was like, "Ooh, this is what you play for, man.
Exactly.
High school
Yeah.
quarterfinal. A lot of people. It's good." To pump your tires, the Brother Rice game, like you said, you had multiple points. We won 5-4. I think they scored a couple goals late. Do you remember that?
Yeah. It was
I think
the. But I mean, he's not going to see his pride, but that Peter Rosa, he was pretty good in high school. I think he had a hat trick that game. So
yeah,
he
yeah.
just, he turned it on and scored 3 goals on us. So, but
I
we
remember
ended up
that.
beating him. Yeah.
You had three apples, and then when we played Gabriel Richard in the quarters that you mentioned, we won 6-1. You had 3 goals and an assist, so
Yeah.
not bad. Yeah, that
Not
those
bad.
were
No.
fun games.
Yeah.
I remember both clearly. The Brother Ice one, like I said, that's Catholic League, and it was kind of early in the year, and we were just like, wow, look at the potential we have. And then when we played Ann Arbor GR, that one was like, all right, like you're just in our way, like we're going
Yeah.
right through you, and we're gonna keep
Exactly.
going here.
Yeah.
So standing behind the three of you guys, and then zooming out even further on the bench with your those classes, those teams you were on, the 22 GR team and the 23 GR team. I like some of that was like the most fun I've had coaching because
Hmm.
you guys were just good players and you were good guys and you wanted to win and you wanted to contribute to the team.
Yeah.
So you said already that there was, really high competition between the whole those teams during practices every day. What else do you think it is that makes a team successful over time? Is it just simply being on the same page? Like what makes a team successful in your opinion?
I think it's just like being able to bond outside of hockey as well. Like we were all really close. I think it was like we all were friends with each other. It wasn't like there was little groups or whatever. Like everyone got along, and with the bonding outside comes chemistry on the ice, and it allowed us to like just kind of know where guys would be at a certain time, and you don't gotta to like think if this guy's gonna make this play, like he's going to make that play. Like you figured everyone bought in, and I think it was everyone listened to Coach Rick's systems, which is a really big thing as well. Like nobody played their own game just to play. Everyone was playing what he instilled.
I totally agree. I told in that conversation with Jimmy, we were talking about some of the growth of you guys over time. And what I've said is that, when you guys were young, freshman, sophomore year, uh we didn't have a lot of defensive structure. We had to teach you guys all that and you guys had to learn all that because just coming
Yeah.
from youth hockey, a lot of times that's not a huge focal point of coaches. And then by the time you guys got older, junior, senior year, you had all that offensive ability that you've always had, and you had the defensive structure and defensive
Hmm.
sense. And then
Yeah.
it was just like, wow, like look out. So
Hmm.
those are cool memories to look back on.
Yeah.
When you say, you touched on Coach Rick quickly there. Touch on in more detail, like your experience playing with him and being a part of his program at the time, and then now, even 3 years later, seeing how things have evolved with him and with the program.
Yeah, I mean, he's just as much of a hockey nerd as I am. Like he's always coming in with clips. Like I remember we would watch film pretty much every day before practice, which is a huge thing. Like I love watching film. Like just to be
Mhm.
able to know like that he's seeing what we want, like he's seeing stuff and then he relays it to us, and like we have the ability to ask questions about it. Like it's a huge thing when your coach is a hockey nerd. Like they love the game, and on the ice he's strict. Like obviously like when we messed up, like we would skate for it. I remember there was a practice we did like 7 or 8 55-second drills because we went off sides a bunch in one of the games, and that was a bag of a practice, but like for good reason too, like just to teach us. Like he held us accountable, and that's a really big thing. Like coaches holding you accountable is a huge thing. Like not letting you get away with stuff. But I think I give him a lot of credit too as where I am today because he's reached out to coaches for me, and he's always had my back as a player, and he helped me develop my skills.
That's awesome. I echo everything you just said there. Um, so Coach Nate was also someone that has been in your corner through this whole development process for you over the
Yeah.
years. I remember years ago, I want to say it was your freshman year or sophomore year. He was always on you to go shoot pucks. And you already said
Hmm.
earlier how you had, your basement and you shot all these pucks and you've gotten better with your shooting. Touch on that part of what he helped you with and trying to get you kind of into that routine.
Yeah, I mean, just like he would stay on the ice after sometimes with me, work on my one timer, just working on like different releases and stuff, and like just to see that he cared about how I like progressed as a player was big. Like he wasn't just there as a like an assistant coach who just was on the ice, got off and left. Like he
Mhm.
cared about his players as well, and he also loves the game, and he played for like U of M Dearborn, I think it was, and GR as well. So like he also loved the school and wanted to see us win. So I mean,
Yep.
him just being Like a guy like that was huge.
Absolutely. Very lucky for all of us to have those guys, Coach Rick, Coach Nate, along with everyone else. Like we've had such a great staff to go along with all you and so many great players over the years.
Yeah.
So to transition over to juniors, like you finish your high school season and then you're figuring out what's next for you. Did you know all along that you were going to want to play hockey after high school, or what was that process like?
Yeah, I figured I wanted to play after. I just like I love hockey. I can't see myself not playing competitive hockey. I'm gonna go play college hockey wherever it is, and I've expressed to like my parents and people that like yeah I want to go try and play pro. Like
Mhm.
obviously it's gonna start somewhere like small wherever it is. If I get like an opportunity here or overseas, I'd even be open to that. But like I want to keep playing competitive hockey because like that's just what drives like my ambition.
Have you thought about that life after hockey? I mean, it sounds like you're going to play hockey until you literally can't skate anymore. Have you ever thought about anything after?
Yeah, I mean, like in the summer, I do a lot of other things besides hockey. Like I work with my family a lot of um days like during the week. I'm working like in the summer, so just trying to make money that way. But like I know there's a certain point where yeah, hockey's gonna it's not gonna be a thing anymore. So when I get to school, when I get to start studying for my degree, hopefully it comes in handy at some point. Just I mean, I looked down the road and said, "Hey, like that's what's gonna happen." But like right now, I'm just living in the moment.
Love it. I think that's exactly how you should be. I was just
Hmm.
just curious because it's so much on hockey. I was curious if you had some random thing out there that you thought about it too. So,
Yeah.
you've played 2 years for Toledo Cherokee in the USPHL, that first year after high school and then last year as well. I know you said you got called up to, another team, I believe you said Wyoming at one spot. Touch on that transition from high school hockey into, uh, playing at the junior level. What was that transition like?
It was it was a little tough, right? Like I know I didn't want to play for Toledo when I first left GR. I wanted to try and go play in the NCDC my first year. So I tried to reach out to teams, I got like the typical, oh, you're invited to main camp offers, like come skate with us for $500 and you'll get this jersey and maybe a pat on the back. But like your parents want to see you succeed too, and I'm thankful for them that they let me go to at least one camp to try and get my name out there. I started off in Mercer in New Jersey, and I tried
Mhm.
to go there. I made it all the way to the end, and they said, like you're right there, but we think if you played on our AAA team, like you can get some games on NCDC, but we don't think you're NCDC ready right now. So after that, it was kind of just deciding, well, I mean, it's either Toledo, Metro, or I talked to another team in the GOJHL, the same league Jimmy started off in with the Chatham Maroons, and I was really actually thinking about going there too, but um, it's just it was I was thinking, for my first year, why would I go away? Why can't I can just stay
Sure.
here, play for Toledo? They're a good program right now, and just get my feet wet and prove to people that like yeah I'm small and you might not think I get into the battles or whatever, but I'm gonna produce. Like that's just what
Right.
I'm gonna do. So.
What was the biggest, adjustment for you in the actual style of play? Was it more physical? Was it just way faster? What was that difference from high school hockey to that USBHL level?
It's definitely more physical. It was faster as well. Like obviously for the first few games, like you're gripping your stick a little tight because you're nervous. But that's normal stuff after you get your first goal or whatever. And I was lucky to get mine my first game and
Oh, wow.
just got it off my back and I didn't look back from there. Like it was the pace was definitely a little fast, but like when I started to play, like I can make this play here. Like I got more time than I think. Like there's no reason to stress. And I ended up like working my way up to the first line with two really amazing players that are I give credit to my first year because they finished and they made good plays as well. So it helped me produce and that like gave me a lot of confidence.
You had 78 points your first year at Toledo. and you had 50 that second year. This is without playoffs. So what, over 120, over 130 points in 2 seasons? Were you just putting up points like every single game? Like what was that like throughout that 2 year time stretch?
It's I mean, right, we have good teams in our division, and there's definitely some teams that struggle. That's the thing with the Premier. Like, you never know what you're
Hmm.
gonna get. There's teams like Metro who are like arguably like playing them at Toledo is like playing in one of these NCDC games. Like, it was fast, physical, and like it's very similar. And then you get these teams like that struggle. So obviously some of the points were put up there, but I still put points up in the games that mattered and stuff like that. So it yeah, I was scoring most nights or assisting most nights, but, like, I was just looking at it like I'm just playing my game. Like,
Sure.
whoever we play tonight, like, I'm just gonna go out there and play like we're playing the best team or the last game of my career.
So before we jump into some other things, I don't think I've asked you this. You were number 52 on Toledo.
Yeah.
How do you end up as number 52?
I I don't know, it was weird. My first year, he sent me a list of numbers that I could be, and I don't know if I just picked 52 because it had 5 in it, but
Mm,
that's just what it was. Like, I picked 52, it had 5 in it, and I just kinda I'm not, like, superstitious about my number, but, like, obviously, it would've been nice to have 5, but, um, the 52 was on there, and I ended up getting that one, and I didn't think to switch it my next year, so it was what I stuck with.
I think it's sick. I was just
Yeah.
curious. I mean, you don't see many. I don't know of any like 52s, especially not like a forward
Yeah.
who like plays your style. Occasionally you'll see maybe like a big defenseman or something.
Mhm.
And so you already said it was had a 5 in it. You were
Yeah.
number 5 at GR. I think you're 5 again right now when I was looking at pictures, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
So
So,
what's
yeah.
the meaning behind 5?
I don't know, it was my dad was a defenseman, he was number 2, so, I mean, I kinda, like, looked at that, and I don't remember if it was the first player I knew about or it was my favorite player at the time, but Nick Lidstrom, like,
Mhm.
really, that's where I got 5 from. Like, I kinda watched him and I was like, "This guy's he's really cool." Like, for some
Yeah.
reason, this guy, he's the captain of the Red Wings. Like, "Oh my god, this guy,
Mhm.
this is who I wanna wear." Like, I wanna rep this guy. So, I think I wore 13 for a little bit when I was young, but, like, 5 was majority of the number I just had. Like, I know it's not a forward number by any means. Everyone tells me
Sure.
that. They're like, "Why are you wearing 5, man? You're a forward." I'm like, I just that's just what I do. Like, I've been wearing that my entire, like, career for most times, and, like, I stuck with it. So, yeah, like, 5 was just something I pulled from a young age and kept it.
When I think of you, I think of the number 5. So, like, it's, you have that association with the number. It's funny that Lidstrom is who you took it from because obviously Lidstrom's one of the best NHL defensemen of all time,
Yeah.
but, like, left-handed defenseman, you're a right-handed forward,
Mhm.
little things like that. Like, if you were 13 because of Datsuk, yeah, you're a
Yeah.
lefty, he's a righty, or vice versa, but he's a skilled forward. It would make sense that you'd wanna, like, kinda copy him.
Mhm.
But to look at a defenseman that's unique, especially as like a young at a young age like that.
Yeah, yeah. I don't know why I never played defense as a young age. My dad was like a stay-at-home guy. Like, I
Oh,
talk to my
okay.
uncle all the time, and he's like, you have unbelievable hands for what your father had. Like, he had bricks for hands, man. Like, they always make sure to poke fun at him, and it's really funny when we're like sitting down for dinner or whatever. So it's like his whole family played hockey as well. Like,
Oh, okay.
it's been in like our family forever, and it's like just it's fun to talk about. So I don't know, 5, I mean, I met Nick Lindstrom when I was young, and that was, like, really cool as well, so just 5 was always it.
They call him the perfect human, so it's good to have a role model like that in some
Yeah.
capacity. So you play those years at Toledo. Talk about your call up, and then also, like, this year, how you end up at the, in the NCDC.
Yeah, so, I mean, like, in Toledo, it like I said, there was really good teams we played, and then there was, like, some not so good teams, so on every given night, you gotta bring your all and, like, regardless who you're playing, and that's just how it is. So after, like, my first year, I signed a tender with the New Jersey Hitmen, like, almost at the end of the year, and I was like really pumped to be there because that's like an unbelievable organization in the NCDC. That's like the
Mhm.
oldest one or whatever. They have, great coaching staff, and I was excited because I thought that was where I was going to be. Unfortunately, things didn't work out there. They ended up trading me to Casper, a brand new NCDC team, like during the time out in Wyoming. So it was a huge jump from going from, the East Coast and then having to pack all my stuff up, drive 24 hours on like week's notice and get there and, move into a billet and just start playing. And I was there for like 2 or 3 weeks, ended up getting cut, unfortunately. And then I just figured, like, at this point, it's just back to Toledo. Like, I can try and reach out to other teams, see if they want me, but it's just like apples to apples. Like, what's it really going to do? Like, I mean, I'm going back to Toledo and playing hockey. So I
Sure.
just figured that'd be the spot for that year.
And then, so you play. So that was at the beginning of your second year. That was at the beginning of last year. Then
Yeah. Beginning of last year, I started in Casper and
that's what I thought.
ended up in Toledo.
Nice. So you play a full year there. You go through this process this summer. How do you
Mhm.
end up at Northern?
Yeah, so I give credit to like my advisor and Coach Wyand here. Like they have a really good relationship, and they've bounced players here and they enjoy it. So um over the summer I like skated with my advisor group, and he said, he's interested in you, and they would tender you. And he was like, are you open to that? I'm like, yeah. Like, I mean, if they want to give me a shot, like, I can't say no. So I signed there, and I went out to camp, did really well at camp, and they said, we'd love to have you. So just that was always the spot.
So you're someone who has played hockey and now, and you're in your third year of juniors. You've played all different places. You've accomplished a whole list of things. What is continuing to drive you today? I know you mentioned earlier that you love the game and you're passionate. Is that what it is, or is there something you're trying to prove to yourself or more, or what is driving you today?
Yeah, I mean, like, obviously love for the game, but like I also just I feel like I owe it to myself to keep going, right? Like and to my parents as well. They've put in a lot of money and effort to get me where I am. So like I just I want to keep going. Like I just want to keep getting better. Like I look forward to every game because it's just an opportunity to like, showcase your skills, and you go out there and put a couple points up, and it's just like it's fun. I love to play. So I keep getting better.
So you've already said earlier that, college hockey is on the horizon for you. Like that's pretty much the next thing you're working towards at this stage
Yeah.
in your career. Um, do you have a specific area of the country that you'd like to go to school, or because it's hard to kind of know a year out, like, I want to play for this team.
Yeah.
So are you thinking about a certain type of school, or are you looking to study something at school? Like, what do you think that's going to come down to for your selection?
Um, I'm not like super picky on where it is. I've told all like the college recruiters that like I plan to study business. Like that's a pretty normal thing for hockey players, and it can go a long way with like stuff I do back home. So that's just like a pretty easy thing. And if I were to go to school on the East Coast, I'd be happy. Like wherever it is. Like I said, I want to keep playing hockey, and I want to go play for like the best team that's available. Whether
Mm.
that's back closer to home or out here, like, doesn't matter to me. I'm just looking for the next step after this.
So you said business, and I'll echo on that. Like, I went to school for business when I was done playing, and I'm work in finance now, and the business side of things, like, so much of it overlaps with hockey and those people you meet in hockey. So
Yeah,
I think that's great. You were someone who took your education serious when you were at GR as well. I know
yeah.
you always always focused on your GPA and all that. How important is that as a young athlete, someone who is in high school right now that plays a sport and they're not motivated in class because they think if they're just good enough it'll help. What advice do you have to someone in that position about school?
Yeah, it's huge. Like, you talk to these recruiters, and I don't know if they're like afraid to ask like your GPA. Like that's always like a last thing they ask you because they think, oh, like these hockey players probably goofed off in school or didn't do anything because they're traveling. But like when you tell them like, oh yeah, I ended like with a 4.0, they're like, wow, like that'll do really good when recruiting here. So like just take school serious. Like I know it sucks. Like I never liked school, but you got to put in the work. Like it's like a bag practice. Like it's gonna suck, but afterwards, like you get it done, and you're gonna feel better. And down the line, it's going to help you. Like you're going to have that extra stamina. You're going to have that extra boost to colleges like that are going to see that.
I love that part. That's so true. You just look at those short term like it's a bag skate, get through it and let it help build you. Um, do you have advice to another hockey player like not you kind of just touched on the educational side, but for someone who is maybe a freshman right now and you know their high school season is starting within the next month and they're borderline JV varsity in your situation, do you have any advice to someone that you'd give to a player in that position?
I think the biggest thing I'd say is just to like continue to to love it. Like I know I've said it a lot, but like that's just what drives you. Like the
Hmm.
more you enjoy doing what you're doing, like they say, like when you enjoy your job or you have fun at your job, you never work a day in your life.
Sure.
So it's like it's the same thing with hockey. Like if you enjoy hockey, you can go out there and like every day just feel loose and not like you're out there doing something that you don't want to be doing. Like if you're out there playing like a sport that you love, like regardless if it's hockey, just to love what you're doing because it's like putting the extra hours and like whatever makes it fun for you.
Is there something that you think is still helping you today that you've done all along? Like at 20 years old, almost 21, are you still shooting pucks? Are you still stick handling? Are you working out hard? Are your nutrition like how are all those things affecting you today?
Yeah, I mean, like they have a really good setup over here as far as like the gym. It's open like to us pretty much at our disposal. They have two shooting lanes and all the pucks you could want, and you just bring your stick down there and you shoot for hours if you wanted to. I try to go down there and you know I've been doing a lot of stick handling recently, just like with the orange puck and like a weight on your stick, just doing that. I've seen people on Instagram start doing that, so I was like, hey, I might as well
Hmm.
try that. Something new. I haven't done that before, so just try to like work on my hands, maybe get them a little faster, the feel of the puck better, work on keeping my head up more. So just little things outside. Like I don't want to. It's when you're in a dorm room, it's tough because you don't have like you feel like you're bored a lot of the time because like there's stuff to do. Like the guys hang out and whatever. We watch a lot of sports, football, and that's all good. But like you want to get out, like start like even like the walk to
Hmm.
the gym. Like it's like 3 minutes, but it's just nice to be outside and it's a good area. Like you feel the breeze and whatever. So
Yeah. I completely get that. I completely get that. Last couple here, I have this one's a much lighter note. So
yeah,
we all have heard of the look good, feel good, play good saying, and a lot of hockey players live by that. Our
yeah.
equipment needs to look good on us. It needs to feel good. You are someone that I think exemplifies that. You were always aware of how your equipment was, how it looked, how it felt. I believe you taped most of your teammates' sticks at your time in high school. Um, how important do you think that is for you and your career to kind of feel good? And I don't just mean, okay, you have a cool new stick, you're automatically going to score, but
yeah.
the actual serious side of things where knowing what you have and how it's fit for you and you're comfortable in what you have, how has that played a role in your career?
Yeah, I mean, like just going back to it, I've always like loved taping my own stick. It's as the years go on, like I mean, I still like taping it, but it's not like a chore or anything. But like, just get it over with now. But like I just remember in GR, like we were always worried about our socks. Like me and Jimmy would like pull the socks up and make sure they were really tight. Like that was a thing. We tape them up at the top, and like it was always like you have to make sure they're super tight and like
Hmm.
there's no wrinkles in them, and like you put a lot of clear tape on. That was like just things we did. Yeah, I like taping his stick as well. Like he couldn't do the sock, so he always wanted a sock done, and I had to figure out how to do it on a left-handed stick. But I think that was also just like line chemistry and stuff, just little things like that we had. But like just being able to like have faith in your equipment, like knowing that like you tape that stick or whatever, like it's how you like it. It's not like how someone else likes it done or like the way your skates fit, like regardless if like you lace them a weird way or something like that. Like it's just feeling comfortable in your stuff and it's almost like a second layer of like skin or whatever. Like it's just so you're comfortable how you feel and you can go out there and not have to worry about anything.
As you were saying that, I was thinking the same thing, like being comfortable in your skin. It's like
Yeah.
another layer. I was thinking the exact same thing. And I ask you that because that's something I always think about with you. But I was the same way. Like I needed my skate, like I would tie my skates 4 to 5 times every time I touched the ice.
Yeah.
And it would just because I'd tie one, I tie the other, it would be a little bit tighter. I'd have to loosen it, tighten the other one, and keep
Yeah.
doing it for like 4 or 5 times, and then finally get up, move my legs around, make sure they feel good, and whenever I had that done, I was set, like, I was ready
Yeah.
to play. But if I
Mhm.
didn't have that done, my skates weren't tight and my shin pads weren't tight, oh, it was like a whole other player. So,
Mhm.
I can
Yeah.
relate to you with all of that.
Yeah. For sure.
Um, so anything else to touch on? I want you to give a shout out to any family members or coaches, players, teammates, whatever, but
Yeah, I mean, I'll shout out my parents. Like they've always been like there helping me. Like they've put a lot of time and effort. Like I said, like my mom's out here visiting me right now. She just
mhm,
like loves to be out here and loves hockey as well. So it's nice to see that they still have my back. And I give credit to you guys as coaches. Like I know like being in high school, it was tough like working my way up, but I got like just like faith from you guys on the bench. Like I knew you guys had my back when I was out there, and like it gave me the confidence to go do what I do, especially like my teammates as well. Like we were all like really close my senior year, and that like the confidence boost from those guys was unbelievable. Like pushing each
mhm,
other, like Jimmy, like we still skate in the summer all the time together. Like he's one of the most competitive people I know, and it just like even like just stick and puck. Like we'd go to Allen Park and we're playing like 2-on-2 posts with him and his brother, and it's like we can't lose that game. We don't want to lose it. We just want to, go out there and beat those guys. It's just like you have that over them. So, um, just like all the people along the way, just being there to support me.
I can completely relate to that one. The sticks and pucks, like whatever it is, you can't lose. If you have that mentality all the time, you will get so much better because those minor improvements add up to the big picture.
Yeah.
And it's probably okay to lose some of those random little things, but in the moment, like it's that mentality that drives you. So I can relate to that one.
Mhm. Yeah.
Awesome. You've went through a ton of good stuff here. It's been great talking with you. Do you have anything else that you wanted to touch on or any last words?
No, not really. I just thank you for having me on. Like it's been really cool. So I
Awesome.
saw Jimmy's interview and I was like, yeah, like this would be awesome. Like I remember you texting me
Exactly.
about it. So
For sure. Yeah, you've
yeah,
been on my list the whole time, so it's good to connect and chat on the podcast. And we'll be watching. I know you said you got a couple more games this weekend, and you got a whole
mhm,
season ahead of you. So it'll
yeah,
be fun to watch you and follow along and see what's next on your journey.
yeah, awesome.
Awesome. All right. Thanks, Gonzo. I'll talk to you soon.
Yeah, thank you. Have a good one.